Well, it's obviously a terrible day for commuting here in Boston. Thank God we're actually recording everything professionally this time. But hopefully more people make it. I was told somebody spent an hour on the T today, just so. Kudos to you for actually making here. So actually, to kick us off, we have Gloria Waters, who'll be saying a couple of words. I decided not to talk about her accomplishments as an individual, but about the role she's played. Like, none of this would have happened. While this is a multi-institutional, multi-industry, all these industry partners involved in it, it's actually university getting behind this and using the credibility of the university and standing up this and championing that we offer this internally and talking to the peers. None of this would have happened without your support, Gloria. So thank you so much.
Great. Okay, I think I will go on with that. Okay, just do this here. Everybody can hear me. Yeah, a little easier here. So, Orran, thank you. Really great to have this event here at BU today. So, welcome everybody to the 7th Mass Open Cloud Workshop. And as Orran and I were just saying, you know, the whole idea of this open cloud, I mean, it was a compelling idea a decade ago, really, when people started to think and talk about this. But it is really amazing to see how it has developed over the years and how it has really exceeded our expectations. It's had its ups and downs, and it's taken a lot of work on Orran's part and that of many others in the university and beyond. And I'll just talk about that a little bit. But it's just amazing to see that we now have production cloud services offered by university IT groups. And it's really supporting researchers from many different universities. And then there's also developed a really robust systems research computing group of people studying the behavior of the cloud, which is an important part of the academic mission of this whole endeavor. So I really appreciate the role that the Alliance is playing in presenting opportunities that really help computer systems researchers engage with industry and also open source community work on really important problems. And it is also providing a really unique and cost-effective resource for our researchers across many different universities, and that is really appreciated by the researchers and by the universities. So I think you know, the MOC is really helping impact many different areas of academic research, and it's really had an amazing effect in that regard. One particularly innovative research partnership that we definitely have to highlight is that with the Red Hat Collaboratory. This is really a very unique collaboration between open source research community, and also it is helping impact real at-scale production infrastructure and services in the open cloud. Red Hat has been an amazing partner, and over the past 2 years, the collaboratory has funded more than 35 projects. With research, this resulted in papers in top journals, and also it's really had a major impact on open source systems. So it's really a nice kind of collaboration for universities to have with industry. One of the things that has been announced recently is the IUCRC, a National Industry University Research Partnership Center, which is funded by the NSF and was just approved. And it's also an innovative research model, which is very similar to the collaboratory, and is now engaging additional industry partners and universities around the open cloud. So I think that's something that we're really looking forward to and looking to see how it will really enhance even more of what the Alliance is currently doing. So we're really happy to have many of the companies that are a part of the IUCRC at the workshop today and tomorrow. And it's amazing to see the diversity of companies that are actually involved in the IUCRC, everything from software developers to chip manufacturers and others. So I think a really important partner in all of this has definitely been the region's research institutions. This is a collaborative of many institutions industry partners and also especially the MGHPCC. And that has been a really important component of this. And then the Mass Tech Collaborative has really stepped up and supported and championed the Mass Open Cloud at very critical junctures. And so we're really appreciative of that support. So all of the research IT departments in the universities that are a part of the Alliance have played a really important role. I want to just especially call out at BU Wayne Gilmore and Tracy Schroeder, and that at Harvard, Scott Yokel and Clara Jelenkova, who've really played key roles in driving production cloud services, but also in engaging the research IT departments of all the other institutions to have people come together around this really important effort. I think that, the Alliance has really been a unique opportunity, and it's been really successful so far. And it has really helped us engage with industry in a way that we never really thought to do before, and in really, I think, mutually beneficial ways. Other aspects of it are just the courses that academic departments are able to put on that allow students to engage in collaborations with industry partners. And I think that's beneficial both for industry and also for the academic institutions. So that's been a really important part of this also. And it's just a great model for future private-public partnerships, I think, and something to be pursued in a university setting that not very many, I think, organizations are doing at this date. And it has also validated the importance of the MGHPCC and the role that it plays in this as a really important resource for the whole community and a shared resource. So I think we want to, first of all, thank all of our partners, the universities, Harvard, MIT, Northeastern, UMass, Boston Children's Hospital, and also especially the MGHPCC, which we all belong to. There are many industry partners that are a part of the Alliance and now also of iScale, and they've given really valuable resources and technical support. So Red Hat, Two Sigma, Intel, AMD, G Research, Wayfair, Broadcom, VMware, Cloudware, Flax Advisors, Lenovo, and Schneider Electric have all been really important to this whole project. And I think we especially want to thank the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and in particular the Mass Tech Collaborative for helping drive this vision into reality. They've really been with us from the very beginning and really provided the critical seed funding initially for this whole endeavor to start. And they continue to give us really important guidance and support. So that's really appreciated. And then I think, we want to thank everybody who is a part of the Alliance community because you're all playing a really important role. So I would say that BU is really thrilled to host this important multi-institutional project and to provide the support that we can for it. And I think we're really incredibly pleased with how this has come about over the past decade, and I can see only good things to come. But it has been an amazing ride to see this from the beginning to where it is now, and just really, really appreciate Orran's leadership and the work of all of the folks who are working on it to get us to this stage. I think it's been really mutually beneficial for everybody who's participated, and so thank you all for being a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gloria. Sorry. I didn't have to wear glasses when I first came here. So, so the cloud's transformed research and innovation. For domain researchers, it's the new place where library, where data is discovered. It's the new laboratory where innovation is done. Still can't see this. There we go. And for system innovation, this has enabled very, very rapid transition from research to experimental services to production services, where you can be informed by real usage, where you can incrementally make changes and rapidly deploy that innovation, where you can have availability of scale. Problem is that the public cloud today, for domain researchers, it lacks the facilitation that has been so critical for HPC to let it be used by a broad set of users. it's unpredictably expensive. It's locks you into a specific cloud. And for the system innovators, you know, that most of the academic research community, the open source community, and much of industry, we're kind of locked out of what's going on in the public clouds. There's no visibility into the real usage. We don't have the ability to incrementally deploy innovation like the cloud providers do, and we don't have the access to scale. So back in 2013, we had this really crazy idea that we create our own cloud. This was made possible because of the MGH-PCC, this massive data center that was shared by all the universities. And the idea was that we would actually have a real production cloud, services that domain researchers would use. We could use that to inform the systems research, and then we could take those ideas and incorporate them to open source, and then make those available in our own production cloud. So, in other words, what we wanted to do was to open up the rapid innovation that was happening in the public clouds to the broader community by creation of production cloud for academia. It worked. I mean, it's kind of shocking. This is really the first workshop I feel I can seriously say that. We now have a whole series of projects that are standing up production cloud services that are actually operated by research IT, enabling that research to actually impact open source and transitioning that impact back into innovation that's actually affecting our own cloud. We have major projects now that are actually run by research IT that reports to CIOs with responsibilities to the whole university. So we need to have a real structure around this, and that's what the MOC Alliance has become. It's the sort of organizing body around all these different projects where all the kind of real work is happening. And really critical from my perspective, we now have a billing model. You know, at the end, cloud is about actually having a revenue that you can grow the thing as self-sustaining rather than just free services. And that was a really critical thing made possible, again, by the MGH-PCC, so that we can grow this thing in a self-sustaining fashion based on people doing their research and education. Now, I'm told I shouldn't really talk about the prices of this too publicly, but I'm going to do it anyhow. For research and education, this is incredibly less expensive than the public cloud today. It's only there for research and education. We're not trying to compete with the public clouds. We have no egress costs because we're on top of a national network, and we're charging the real cost of what it's taking us to deploy this. So the capital, the equipment amortized over 3 to 5 years, the cost of the data center, the energy costs, our real operations costs. But today it's already substantially less expensive than the public cloud for research and education. And as the scale's larger, it's going to drop significantly in costs. So MOC by the numbers, we have over 1,000 servers with more than 30,000 cores and 5 terabytes of memory, which we've allocated, some of them statically right now. You'll hear more about that later, and a bunch of this elastically so we can move between the servers. We just had our first model of an industry provider providing infrastructure into us where they continue to own it. So Lenovo and NVIDIA have worked to put 16 servers that just became available in the data center with 64 A100 GPUs, where it's co-investing. We have over 50 petabytes of production storage, and 133 petabytes of tape in NESI. And then we also have a large storage infrastructure that can be used for researchers that want to do research and storage. NERC is now being used by over 65 PIs from 11 different institutions with more than 700 users. We have actually courses now being operated on this. My own students are using this every single day. So this is actually rock solid support infrastructure. I could have said it never went down until last week, but but it's actually been rock solid and incredibly, the students love that they have this environment with reproducible containers where they can actually do all their work. And so its value for education is huge. There's incredible amounts of system research happening. First of all, the Open Cloud Testbed, which is this national testbed for systems research. The Red Hat Collaboratory, which is a huge, well, actually I'll talk a lot more about that in a second, but this is a major investment by Red Hat to sort of make this whole thing real, which involves both funding for research, but also an engagement with Red Hat engineers. And I'll talk more about it in a minute. But that's supported, as Gloria was saying, over 31 projects, 20 different faculty, hundreds of students. In fact, a whole bunch of undergraduate students that have done their own proposals to this that we funded with Red Hat or academic mentorship. This resulted in over 44 publications in just the last couple of years, and also real impact to open source software and a number of the innovations that are going into our cloud. And as Gloria said, we were just approved for a new National Center for Cloud Research. The kickoff meeting is Friday with more than 10 companies participating in this. And that's actually based on the same model that the Red Hat Collaboratory did, but just expanding it now to more companies and more institutions. So that's just talking about some of the core projects. There's the Open Storage Network, Coliseum, BioGrids, Dataverse, and Chris that you'll hear more about over the session. So it's turned into quite an enterprise, kind of shocking. I tried to, and I'm sure I missed people, but hopefully you can all read this. This is the sort of governance, the organization, and all the people who have made substantial contributions to this effort, researchers involved in it, their students and alums of the project. But I want to kind of focus on sort of this core part of it right now, although I'm not sure everybody would agree this is the whole core, but this is, you know, the leadership here. It started with Peter and I, and I don't know if Peter's around right now, but I mean, I still remember we stood up the first environment, and Peter ended up sort of diving into it for a 20-hour stretch and figuring out it was a kernel bug, which was the reason why the OpenStack wasn't running on the hardware we had, with a couple of new college graduates. And it's gone from Peter and I kind of kicking this off to now, oh man, I haven't even started. So now we have sort of this whole team, Heidi, who leads Red Hat Research US, John Stumpf, John Goodhue for the MGHPC. They're the kind of people where if I can convince them an idea is real, I actually believe it myself, and actually then go and execute on it. We would have never had the building model if it wasn't for the key role John's done. Michael, who's leading our engineering team, and Nancy, who's adding a degree of professionalism to the whole organization. Larry, that keeps us pointed in a vision of real innovation. And this incredible team of engineers. So these are engineers that are not just working on sort of the near-term efforts. So there's a big part of this are working on near-term efforts for NERC, making a production, for all the capabilities that we have, for the billing and everything else. But there's also a whole bunch of engineers that are engaged in working out of research projects that were sponsored by the Collaboratory that we're now transitioning into things that can actually have an impact in the not-too-distant future. That's an incredible involvement of professional engineers. And then there's the staff from Harvard and BU. And we have now a team with real users, a team to engage with them, made possible because of the support of the MTC. Everything we have here is, Tara's here somewhere, and Ken, who've kind of kept this organized, and of course I have to thank Jen, who was the one-woman show when it was sort of Peter and I before this thing scaled up to this level. So this is the agenda for the next couple of days. Previous years, this was all about potential. We were talking about what we could do. Now we have a real cloud. I want this event to be really an opportunity for people to be stating not only what they've accomplished, but the problems that they have. This is our chance to sort of fix what we're doing and sort of figure out what our strategic efforts are in the next couple of years. We decided to have 3 major sessions. AI is such a driving use case, so the first session today that we're doing now is that AI and AI Alliance, which is a new effort being kicked off. The next session is about how we can do something unique and novel, combining the data and the compute in our environment to solve problems that can't be done in a public cloud. And then this isn't just about creating a cloud. We want to create a cloud with a new model that allows innovation by a broad community. So the third session tomorrow morning is about creating an open cloud, what that actually takes to do that. And then finally we have a session where all of those 3 groups, the leaders from that, and several other kind of crucial initiatives are going to have give a quick pitch, and then we're going to have an hour of discussion to really figure out where we want to go with reporting back to the larger team. There's a lot of time for discussion in this, both unstructured time and structured time. So the next couple of days we have 11 hours to kind of come up with decisions of where we're going to be going with things. Yeah, so the first session is actually going to be Jeremy, who's leading Red Hat's efforts in the AI Alliance, talking about it. Sanjay, who talking about research that we've been doing that's having a real impact in controlling systems. And then Eshed actually talking about federated learning, which is kind of a really interesting use case. A big demand in our region is for medicine. And so Ellen Grant and Rudolph Paneer are going to be talking about a capability that they've been developing on NERC, specifically to radiology, but more general than that even. And then we're going to have David. So Two Sigma's a real innovator in Wall Street. They're doing computing and pushing the boundary in a way that very few companies are. So they've both been a supporter of this and a collaborator in all of this. And so I'm really excited to sort of see the kind of innovation that he's talking about and why they want to collaborate with us in doing this stuff. The next session is about how we can do this new innovation. So that includes Larry, who's our chief scientist, kind of kicking it off with sort of the vision, and I'm already over time. Then Wayne is going to be, and Emery was talking about the capabilities we actually have today and what we enable. Stefano is going to be talking, this is all about the data, and so Dataverse is this capability for hosting large data, and Harvard Dataverse is perhaps the largest data set repository in the world. And so the new innovation by bringing Dataverse into the MOC that we can do about the compute. Rory's going to be talking about the RSpace, their new model, kind of a SaaS thing that they're going to be working on top of the MOC, but also how we can create a data commons for the larger region. Mark will be talking about some of the new capabilities that they've done at Two Sigma that I think are going to have a huge impact for academia. Being able to explore the provenance of the relationship, being able to memoize compute when different groups are doing that same kind of computation again and again. And finally, we've been building for a number of years now capability to create this community cache where things are cached near to where they're being accessed. We're going to have Matt from IBM talking about how this is all being upstreamed into Ceph today and working with us, and then we hope to actually make this an experimental service this year on the MOC. John, who joined us recently from heading infrastructure at Two Sigma and before that global services at Johnson & Johnson, is actually working with us on this open cloud vision and talking about that. And then we're going to have a bunch of our engineers talking about the key capabilities we have today that enable this. And Adam from MIT will be talking about how we can use a real cloud to drive innovation, to drive systems research in a more realistic way. Cloud Lab using these elastic capabilities. Do you really want a test bed where everybody has the same publication deadline, is working on a common infrastructure just for you? This allows us to make the test bed elastic with everything else we're doing. And a key part of elasticity is storage that's elastic. So Peter and Isaac will be talking about storage capabilities we developed, motivated by the problems we saw here that are actually now going in production. And then finally, Chris is going to talk, if we want a large-scale federated cloud, we need data all over the world. We actually have, with the Open Storage Network, 1 petabyte data lakes distributed everywhere. Each of the different sessions, we're going to have people just discussing what they want to, what the kind of vision of these things are that we want to discuss, from governance, how we can do facilitation, the efforts around system research, and the key efforts that we've been working on to enable this to be used for education. And so each of these sessions will then have a large discussion period that will come back. And now we have a change in our scheduled agenda. Hugh, could you come up? So I'm going to talk more about Hugh and the role he's played in everything we've done in the reception tonight. But none of this would be possible without the incredible leadership that Hugh, leading Red Hat research, has actually given the project. He convinced Red Hat that our crazy vision of creating a production cloud for education is possible and drove not only major financial investment, but together with Heidi, has created an engineering team that has been critical not just to the production services, but helping transition the research ideas into open source that can then impact our cloud. So I still haven't forgiven you for stealing Jen from me, but other than that, Hugh's been an amazing partner. And I think you have a little announcement for us.
Thanks, Orran. I'm trying to remember. I'm hesitating because I'm trying to remember the first time I stood up here and talked to people. It was a while ago. Yeah, so we've built a thing. It's been good. It is continuing to be good and getting better. When Lars and Min and I came over and started the MOC engineering thing, working with Christy and Navid and all the other great folks on the MOC team, I'll admit that we were not at all sure it was going to go. when arguing with Rado about whether the puppet manifests were the right ones or whether we should use ones that actually were shipped by Red Hat, was kind of it was an event. But we got there. You know, we got a stable OpenStack deployment at the MOC. We now have a stable OpenShift deployment at the MOC. It's growing. It's in production. Frankly, if you told me we would be where we are now in 2018, I would not have believed you. And that's, just to be fair, that's the power of Orran. Orran makes stuff happen. And we're very, very lucky to have him driving this. It has been also a transformative thing for Red Hat. We have probably the first really scaled out OpenShift on bare metal deployment, the first scaled out OpenShift AI on bare metal deployment. I am sure of that. We haven't done these things in other places, and we've learned a ton doing it, and under Heidi's leadership, we're sort of blazing a trail there for how we really do this. So I'm sad about all of this because, as many of you know, I am leaving Red Hat. This is the last time I will stand on this stage as a Red Hatter. I have taken an opportunity at Equinix, the data center company. After 22 years at Red Hat, I figured it was time to go try something different, and so this will be. It's bittersweet for sure. I'm super excited about the new opportunity, but I am really, really proud of what we built together here, and I'm going to miss it a lot. However, I won't dwell on that anymore because I'll just get maudlin, so I won't do that. But I do have what I think will be a nice parting gift, courtesy of my friend Damien Eversman over here, who is the Red Hat Chief Architect for Education. This week, we were able to get a commitment from our senior leadership, Matt Hicks, the CEO, and Mike Ferris, who is our strategy chief working for Matt, for the pricing levels that NERC needs in order to be successful and scale on all Red Hat software. And that's going to be not a gift. It is going to be an actual subscription deal that is actually on paper and makes NERC a real paying customer. And we've got a commitment from them that they will set the pricing, whatever it needs to be, in order to ensure that NERC is successful. And that is, the funny thing is, I've been holding off asking for that because I was like, there's no way I'm going to get this. It's going to kill me. And it was like pushing an open door. It was the easiest thing I've done in a long time at Red Hat. And that, I think, is a testament to all of your success in making this into a real thing. There is going to be some engineering and some program building to make this into a lasting and permanent thing. Damien, with a lot of help from Lee Griffin and Heidi, are going to take point on making all of that happen. To ease the transition in the meantime, last night I was able to ensure that all of the current MOC subscriptions will be extended for free for another 6 months. So that roadblock is out of the way. And in the meantime, we will get this program in place, and we'll be on a good foot going forward. It's going to be a going concern, and we'll be able to federate it and scale it up and do all of the things that we have wanted to do. So this is very exciting. And thanks again to Orran for making me go ask for it. Because I just want to say the last thing. I don't know how many Red Hat folks we have in the room who came through this program as interns and are now with Red Hat. I see a few. I know there are a great many more. I am really excited to know that that program's going to get rolling again any day, and that we're going to have the same kind of pipeline into Red Hat and into building the Red Hat of the future coming out of BU that we had before. And if there's a regret I have, it's that I won't be around to help build that. But as I've been telling people, I gotta give myself a minute to introduce myself over at Equinix, but after that, I think I'll be sniffing around here again. So thank you all for all your help and all your hard work over the years, and I'll see you around the conference. And thanks again to Orran for everything.
Thanks, Hugh. I just want people to understand what this means is that we're going to be the one academic cloud in the world with a sustainable model for offering production services. If you talk about Scott and Wayne, they want to offer production services on top of supported software. It's a really critical thing, and licensing has always been a sort of the third rail, sort of like space in the university. So the third rail for in the relationship, and we're going to have a unique relationship where we can now build a sustainable cloud, and it's everybody else in academia, they'll join us to create this shared thing rather than doing something, rather than sort of diversity of things that can never scale. So thank you, Hugh. That's just incredible what you accomplished. That is the best. I'm sad you're leaving. I wasn't going to say it till the reception, but I'm sad you're leaving. You've been an incredible partner, but that is the most amazing parting gift I've ever seen.